Hello, it's Friday, April the 3rd. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of What's Happening in Myanmar, a show from the Frontier Myanmar podcast family. I'm your host, Nick Dunlop, Frontier's feature editor. Last Friday, the military-dominated parliament elected junta chief Min Aung Hlaing as president, drawing both condemnation and praise. Amnesty International researcher Joe Freeman said, Min Aung Hlaing's new civilian title will not shield him from prosecution for grave violations of international law. The Burma Campaign UK called the transition a sham designed to preserve the military's power, urging the international community not to recognise the regime. Chinese President Xi Jinping, meanwhile, congratulated Min Aung Hlaing, saying that Myanmar was entering a new stage of political transition, while Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed confidence the move would strengthen regional stability. Thai Foreign Minister Sihasak Ponggetgao also sent congratulations, whilst denying Bangkok supports the junta. Following his presidential confirmation, Min Aung Hlaing submitted his cabinet picks to Parliament. He proposed forming an administration with 31 ministries led by 30 ministers, maintaining key security-related portfolios like defence, home affairs and foreign affairs under military control. Notable changes include merging the Ministry of National Planning with Investment and Foreign Economic Relations, creating a standalone transport ministry, and establishing a new Digital Development and Communications Ministry. The Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs will be divided, and a new Women's Affairs Ministry created. By Wednesday, further details emerged about Min Aung Hlaing's cabinet composition, with reports suggesting he proposed reappointing 18 ministers while offering only a few positions to the military proxy Union Solidarity and Development Party, which won a landslide in the junta's tightly controlled election. Key appointments include Air Force General Tun Aung as Defence Minister, and Lieutenant General Nguyen Win Sui as Home Affairs Minister. Former Ambassador to China Tin Mong Sui will replace Tan Sui as Foreign Minister. The junta chief proposed keeping Chief Justice Ta Tue and Union Election Commission Chair Tan So in their positions. At the state level, Min Aung Hlaing appointed Saitain So of the USDP as Shan State Chief Minister and Brigadier General Aung Win Tan as Mon State Chief Minister. The junta offered 2 cabinet positions in Mon State to the Mon Unity Party, which secured the second highest number of seats in the state legislature. Several state and regional legislatures confirmed Min Aung Hlaing's chief minister appointments, including retired police deputy chief Aung Naing Tu for Yangon region and USDP member A. Jaw for Ayeyarwady region. By Friday, Min Aung Hlaing was sworn in as president in a ceremony in Naypyidaw, alongside his new cabinet. He promised stronger international ties and full protection under the law for all Myanmar citizens. But rights groups reported a different reality. More than 30,000 people have been arrested since the 2021 coup, with over 22,000 still in detention. After the junta boss and his cabinet were sworn in, regime Parliament Speaker Aung Lin Dwe announced that the National Defence and Security Council had relinquished all executive, legislative and judicial powers and dissolved the State Security and Peace Commission. The event was attended by several diplomats from friendly countries including China, India, Russia, Belarus and Thailand. However, regional tensions remain. The Philippines says Min Aung Hlaing will not be invited to next month's ASEAN summit. His new cabinet, approved without opposition, now takes office under growing international scrutiny. In a significant legal development, civil society organisations filed a criminal case with the Indonesian Prosecutor's Office in Jakarta on Monday, accusing Min Aung Hlaing and other senior military officers of genocide during the 2016-17 clearance operations against the Rohingya in northern Rakhine State. The complaint, filed under universal jurisdiction, was accepted by Indonesian prosecutors in what activist Yasmin Ullah called a historic development for Rohingya justice. Indonesia becomes the second ASEAN nation to consider this kind of case after Timor-Leste began investigating war crimes in Chin State. Myanmar's fuel crisis worsened as the regime announced new restrictions. Fuel sales to taxis, three-wheelers and cargo trucks are now based on actual distance travelled rather than previous weekly allowances. The junta has installed monitoring equipment in 879 fuel stations and also requires farmers to obtain permission from township agricultural departments to purchase fuel for machinery. By midweek, the fuel crisis continued to worsen, with petrol prices in Yangon nearly doubling since February the 28th, reaching 4,780 chats per litre, $1.11. The chat has also depreciated significantly against the US dollar. The regime's rationing policies have driven many to purchase fuel on the black market, where prices have skyrocketed. A barrel of diesel on the black market fetches 2.5 million chats, about $584 compared to the official price of 1 million chats, crippling agricultural activities in regions like Bago and southern Shan State. After more than 10 years of award-winning journalism, we at Frontier are in a funding crisis. The grants that once supported 2/3 of our operations are no longer available. Despite this, our journalists continue their difficult and dangerous work, but with decreasing resources. It's no exaggeration to say that Frontier is fighting for its very survival. Please encourage friends and colleagues to join Frontier so we can continue producing our trademark features, in-depth investigations, and on-the-ground reporting. By joining Frontier, you'll be supporting us to tell the stories that matter and to cut through the noise to reveal what's really happening in Myanmar. Please click the link in the podcast show notes to join us. The non-profit Justice and Accountability Initiative filed a class action lawsuit against Norwegian telecommunications company Telenor on Tuesday for giving the junta access to user data of those suspected of opposing the 2021 coup. The civil case, filed in Norway on behalf of Myanmar customers, alleges Telenor shared the information of at least 1,253 customers between the coup and its exit from Myanmar in March 2022. The plaintiffs argue Telenor is liable for €9,000 in damages per customer, including for the data of activist NLD lawmaker Pyo Zeator, who was arrested in November 2021 and executed in July 2022. Telenor said it had no real option but to comply with the junta's orders to protect its employees from imprisonment, torture, or death. In Cayenne State's Lai Bui Township, residents reported the construction of several structures likely intended for use as cyber scam centres in Cayenne Village, controlled by the Karen National Army. The village is the birthplace of KNA Commander Colonel Chit Tu, whose battalions transformed from the junta-aligned Border Guard Force in January. Locals reported Chinese nationals directing construction, with many workers displaced from the notorious Shui Cocoa scam hub relocating to the area. Meanwhile, regime forces raided a cyber scam compound near Panku village in eastern Shan State's Tachilek Township, arresting 126 foreigners allegedly involved in online scam and gambling operations. An additional 57 foreigners were arrested in subsequent raids on other scam sites near Panku. And that's the latest from Myanmar for this week. Next week, we will be taking a break for the Myanmar Festival of Thinjan. And all of us at Frontier wish you a Happy New Year, and we will be back to bring you a roundup of all the stories making the headlines on Friday, April 24.